Hello everyone, happy Monday, good morning, welcome to today's video. Grab yourself a lovely cup of coffee and get comfortable. This is going to be a really nice, chatty, comforting video all about things that make me feel good when I'm feeling anxious. So what I watch on TV, what I'm reading, snacks, things like that. So if you find this helpful and you suffer from anxiety, you might be able to pick up a few tips. And if you don't, you might just enjoy anyway. So let's get started. So I'll start off with my sort of morning routine. Now, everyone has got different sort of triggers, and for me in the morning, or generally, is the news. But I find the news in the morning is a lot less worse than the news in the afternoon. Isn't that, you know? And I like to hear the weather, and I like certain people on Good Morning Britain that I like to watch, but that's not what bothers me in the morning, the news. It's the adverts. The adverts. I cannot, because I like to have something on when I come downstairs to make my breakfast, okay? And the minute I put the TV and there's adverts about Alzheimer's, cancer, funerals, life and death, I can't. Who wants to wake up and hear this kind of thing? Like, it triggers me so badly because I just can't. I get so mad, I get so worked up, I get so stressed about it. I find it horrific. So what I put on is a feel-good show. So at the moment, I've got Seinfeld on Netflix, and I put that on in the morning and I potter around and I make my breakfast, because look, I take a long time. I do my dog's breakfast and then I have to, you know, cut my dates and boil my porridge and all of that. So I put Seinfeld on in the background. Now, I love Seinfeld, I always have. And for me, this changes the way I feel and think dramatically. Because although I'm not sitting in front of it watching it, I can hear it. And it's so comforting for me, and it's so funny. So as I'm doing something, I'm like, God, you know, laughing to myself, rather than getting stressed about an advert that's upset me. So that's what I put on in the morning. So find a sort of show that you love, that makes you feel warm and cozy and makes you laugh, and put that on in the background. It could be YouTube as well. Sometimes I like to put YouTube on in the morning and listen to The American Girls or a chatty sort of video, just to have in the background. And then come 9 o'clock, when I start having my breakfast, I might then put it back onto GMB just to see what's going on, you know, the weather report, you know, but I'll be on my phone and computer, so I won't be paying attention as much. So that's what I do. So that's the morning, okay? Bertie's making an appearance. In the afternoons, like, the news is the worst. And I found when I watch news in the afternoon, I'm talking like 6 o'clock, I get very distressed. Like, you know, there'll be something, you'll think, oh my God, what is with the world? You know, it's really depressing. So for me, I like to put Friends on, and we've got Friends on loop. And again, it's a very comforting show. It's very funny. I grew up with it. There's so many, you know, I see myself in all the characters, and I'm like, oh my God, they don't make shows like this where you think, this is like exactly how like I am, like, you know, it's just so, and it was just so individual and clever. And I love seeing Rachel's hairstyle through the years and what she's wearing, and it's just so nice. So I normally put that in the afternoon. The other thing I do is, okay, this is weird, right? Okay, at 6:30 is Hollyoaks, right? Now, Hollyoaks is a show in England, and it's like what teenagers watch. I watched it at school. I still watch it, okay? For me, it's a comfort thing. So in the afternoon, I've walked the dog. It's that in between to 6:30. What do I do till 6:30? I cannot sit and watch the news because it stresses me out. So I'll either have Friends on, or I'll clean. If I'm really like, oh, I need antsy and I need to do something, I'll clean, because that switches off your mind. And I'm going to mention this out. It's a state called flow state. And I'm going to mention a podcast and a book. Martha Beck speaks about it in her book, which I'm also going to mention. It's when you're in the state of flow, you're not thinking about the past and you're not thinking about the future. You're just in the present moment. And that, your brain sets off serotonin, feel good thingies through your body. So focusing on a task, whether it's baking, cooking, you are so consumed with what's happening that you're not thinking anywhere else, and it's actually very, very calming for the body. Same as going for a walk. So I will often do that, and then 6:30 comes around, I'm like, the soaps have started, and then we cook dinner. So it's kind of having that thing to do and kind of keeping your mind in check and knowing what bothers you and how to kind of take your mind off, rather than sit there and ruminate about 100 million things, which is what I usually do. So that's one of my tips. Feel good shows, something that, is that you've watched for years, you know what I mean? It's very comforting. I love that. Okay, so I've got so many things to talk about, and I've written them down as well. I mentioned the triggers and the news and the adverts. Yeah, I mean, don't you hate it? Don't you hate that? The adverts? Oh my goodness, I just can't. Right, what I'm reading currently is The Way to Integrity by Martha Beck. And I heard about Martha Beck through a podcast again, and I haven't written this down. We Can Do Hard Things, Glennon Doyle. She was on her podcast, and Martha Beck is ex-Mormon, and she talks about the struggles of being herself, and she did this experiment where she wasn't going to lie for an entire year, and it's all about speaking your truth and how you'll be so much happier if you just do what you like, do what you love, like within reason. And she wrote this quote down, and now I'm going to see if I can find it. Hold on. Okay, I found it. She says, know what you really know, feel what you really feel, say what you really mean, and do what you really want. So I think that's very interesting. So it's all about being your true self, and once you are your true self, you're going to be a lot happier, even though you may rock the boat with some people along the way. She talks about sort of family dynamics, people you know, people who've known you for a long time, and the minute you change the way that you are, or you come across differently, or you speak your truth, some people might not like it because they're not used to, well, oh, this person's speaking back, or this person's not being compliant, or this person's setting boundaries. And even though it's uncomfortable and you feel like you're hurting other people, in the long run, it's better for you and them. Do you know what I mean? So it's a really good book, because I really struggle with people pleasing, with boundaries, with the way I feel about myself, a lot of things. So I'm finding this book to be very, very helpful. And she's got a lot of, she talks about the people that she sees in her clinic and their situations, and how the way people look at things in their lives, like, I can't possibly quit this job, I can't possibly do what I want, you know? So it's a very good read, highly recommend. Okie dokie. Now, next up, podcasts. One of my favorite podcasts at the moment that I'm listening to is Dr. Chatterjee, and it's Feel Better, Live More. And he's very soothing to listen to. He has a lot of excellent guests on his show. And yesterday he had on Elizabeth Day, and her podcast is How to Fail. So he was talking about, how to look at what you see as failures in life and how to overcome those. And he was saying a lot of things, obviously, come from your childhood, but he was saying for him, when he was younger, he'd get 95% on his exams, and his parents would say, well, why did you get 100? And things like that for him, that created, he felt he had to win all the time. He had to be the best. He couldn't be a loser. He couldn't fail. Whereas he would have preferred, that's great, or he always felt like he had to do more. So that podcast, that particular episode was about, failures and how we see them and how we look back at them now and how we think differently. So it's really, really interesting, really, really good podcast. But he has different people on talking about mental health, things that make you feel better, and And another thing he said actually, which I've learned on my own is, and I've mentioned this before, everyday small interactions. Again, Martha Beck mentions in her book 1 degree turns. So you can't expect to change things in your life or with yourself in one big leap. It's a 1 degree turn. Lots of little tiny steps help you get to where you want to be. And so another of these things on his podcast was your daily interactions with people. And it's amazing because I was like, oh my God, I just mentioned this the other day. A smile at someone walking past, a chat with a barista. Hi, how are you? He says scientifically it's proven to boost your overall happiness, having these small interactions with people that you meet. And it is so true. So I'm really conscious of that now, and I'm conscious of making the effort to talk to people that I meet in the park, or an old man on the bench. I talk to this old man all the time in the park and his granddaughter. The other day I saw this old man sitting down having a drink. I said, oh, it's really hot, isn't it? He said, yes, I'm just having a little break. I said, all good, make sure you keep cool. He said, I'm having my drink and then I'm going to walk back. And it's, you know, for him, he probably thought, gosh, nobody stops and talks to me. So it's really nice. I always look at somebody who's sitting alone and give them a smile, or, you know, an awkward teenager, you know, or somebody that's like a little bit different that you can see feels uncomfortable, but they're trying to be themselves. So they're wearing what they want to wear, but they're feeling a little bit, you know, and their eyes are down. And I try to sort of give a smile, like appreciative, like good on you for being who you want to be. Be who you want to be, fantastic. Or you look great, you know what I mean? I'm really conscious of doing things like that. So everyday interactions, even if you don't ever leave your house, and you leave your house once in a while, just even at the grocery store, you know, you've always got, they're so lovely. They'll say, oh, how are you? Yeah, I'm good. How are you? How's your day going? You know, are you finishing soon? You know, just a little bit of conversation. It's just really mood boosting for you and for the other person. So that's that one. The other podcast I like is Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett. That's really interesting because he has very, you know, high net worth guests on, and I'm really interested in business and the mindset of people and how did they get where they got, you know, how do they feel about their success as opposed to not, do you know what I mean? Interesting stuff like that. And another one I love is Table Manners by Jessie Ware. Jessie Ware's a singer and I love her. But she does a podcast with her mum called Table Manners where they talk about food or they cook food, and they have guests around and they talk about their food and their upbringing and noise and different foods and stuff like that. It's really, really good. And I don't know if you ever watched Statlet's Flats, but Jamie Dimitri is a comedian, and they had him on as a guest, and it was really, really good, really interesting, really nice to hear about his upbringing and his childhood and cooking and memories. And I love stuff like that. I love hearing about people's memories and lives and stuff like that. So that's a good one. Okay. Another sip of the coffee. Okay, so next up is the ritual of making a coffee or making tea or preparing the teapot and putting the leaves in. For me, that's a ritual. I like it. Again, I'm in flow. I'm thinking about it. I'm putting the milk in. I'm concentrating. And at the end of it, it's a beautiful, lovely coffee that I can enjoy, you know, going over my emails or catching up on my favorite show, for example. I love doing that. Now, recently, I do love my Nespresso, but sometimes you can only really have one because those coffees are quite strong. So I've picked up Little's French Vanilla, and this is just instant coffee, and it is so good. So good. It is. I've had so many vanilla creamers, vanilla coffees that don't taste of vanilla. This does. Oh, it smells, oh, it's beautiful. And you only need 1 teaspoon. And I added my oat milk and it's divine. So if I want to have a couple of coffees that day, then I like to use this. Or say I've run out of my Nespresso, then I like to use this because it's just so nice. And then my next favorite thing is biscuits. Now, I have a new obsession, and I picked these up in Sainsbury's, and these are these French biscuits, and they are Le Petit Beurre. My goodness, these butter biscuits are out of this world. I am absolutely obsessed. They come in, oh, I don't want to break it. They come already packaged like this. And they look so basic and plain, but they are the most delightful biscuits on earth. And with a cup of coffee, when it was warmer, I was taking my coffee to the park and a packet of biscuits, and I'd go and sit on the bench and sit and eat my biscuits and drink my coffee. It was absolute bliss. I picked up another packet by the same company, and they're called Le Petit Chocolat. And again, it's this buttery biscuit with a chocolate slab on top. And these are... Biscuits are a thing, you know. I mean, you really want nice biscuits. I do, yeah, I like nice biscuits. And I love, like, European biscuits. They're just the best. The butter's different. And I've picked these up several times and I just love them. I don't like, you know, shortbreads or thick biscuits like custard creams and bourbons. They're just too thick. I like very thin, sort of this kind of biscuit that's not shortbready. And something like this as well that's got a bit of chocolate on, but again is a thin biscuit. So, you know, digestives as well I like, but I don't like thick biscuits. So that's what I will have with a cup of coffee. And, you know, I might go for a walk, and a lovely walk and a lovely chat, and think, oh, I can't wait to go home and make a cup of coffee, watch Made in Chelsea. I love watching Made in Chelsea as well, like my sort of, what do you call it? Oh, Made in Chelsea, Towie, that kind of thing. Reality, yeah, reality stuff. I love that because I like to see who's wearing what people's makeup are, you know, that kind of thing. So, and the other thing is to feel good and feel better. What I like to do is literally, okay, we shower every day, but I don't wash my hair every day. But when I'm feeling a bit blah, I will shower, shave, wash my hair, put my gradual tan on, blow dry and style my hair and do my makeup, and I will feel tons better. Put something, even if I'm not going out, put something cozy on, something, you know, comfortable and lovely. I love that cozy feel. Put the laundry on, redo your bedding. So if you've had a bad night's sleep, for example, completely strip your bed and do the bedding, put loads of fabric softener, lots of nice smelling beads, and just have a nice fresh bed straight away, and you'll feel better that evening because you've had a whole full shower, and then you've had your, you know, clean bedding. Put your diffuser on. I love a diffuser, and some like relaxing balm, relaxing body lotion, and there you have it. So those were some of my tips to feel better, things to listen to. I think it's helpful when your mind is chattering away to listen to a podcast, do something just to get your mind focused on something else, you know? Get the Hoover out. That always works for me. Get the Hoover out, start hoovering the stairs, and you're like, an hour later, you're like, where have I been? You know? So there we are. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're well, and keep being yourself. I'll chat to you soon. Bye.